So here we are. I mean, I love it. This is the bridge. This is the brains of the ship. This is where the ship would have been fought from and controlled from. Magic, isn't it?
And what a great field of view. I mean, you can see absolutely everything.
Yeah, Richard, that's because there's no roof and there's no walls. I mean, it's nuts, isn't it? It's an open bridge. I mean, this harks back to a bygone era when actually the most important thing for the captain and the officers of the watch was total visibility, keeping an eye on the tactical situation that the ship was in, you know, before radar, before we were able to look beyond the horizon.
And Cavalier was the last of the Royal Navy ships to maintain this open bridge configuration. So, yeah, you're right. Of course, it had its drawbacks as well. It
would have been absolutely miserable up here in a massive Arctic gale, those conditions in early 45 when Cavalier went on to escort the returning Arctic convoy. It must have been unimaginable. Spray coming up here. It was ungentlemanly. It was considered ungentlemanly for the officer of the watch ever to complain. They had to be up here in all weathers, through the night, everything. He wasn't allowed to go anywhere. In fact, there's a urinal back there, so he can go and relieve himself without leaving the bridge. So his binoculars would have been in here, this fantastic little box there. And there would have been two members of the crew at all times on lookout, because Second World War, there were still lots of accidents, navigational errors, collisions. So, you know, keeping an eye out was still a big part of the job.
Yeah, as well as keeping an eye, maintaining all the instrumentation up here. A lot of instrumentation we see around here, but we have to appreciate that some of this was the 1957 refit, so it wasn't here during World War II.
But this was here during World War II. We got
that was definitely there.
Gyro-stabilised compass and a binnacle, so you know where you're going. You can set a course from up here, make course changes, but you'll notice no steering wheel, no helm. Why not? Because these are speaking trumpets. You'd shout down below and you'd give instructions to the helmsman who was below. So that means the helmsman cannot see where the ship's going. So it just shows the trust that existed in those days. You trusted your senior officers. You knew they weren't going to get you into trouble, or you hoped they wouldn't. And so, yeah, you gave controls starboard and port from up here.
And a nice little brass plaque on there as well, Dan, that shows that the speed of a ship was measured in revs.
Absolutely, yeah, because they didn't have the sort of gear that we got nowadays for measuring speed through water. And now, it was miserable up here. You would have been absolutely freezing on the Arctic convoys, but they did sort of try and forestall that a little bit by underneath these wooden slats. They had pipes filled with steam. So it was they were pretty hot, and they tried to stop the deck icing up. But I mean, that would have been small comfort, wouldn't it?
It makes you wonder how effective it was. So as far as the crew are concerned up here, I mean, at the moment, the only chair that I can see is the captain's chair. So the captain was the only guy that could actually sit down. Everybody else had to stand up. And the captain was up here during World War II, during accident stations.
Yeah, he had to fight the ship from up here. He would have had a fantastic view. Dangerous business being a destroyer captain, because incoming shells, bombs, shrapnel, a lot of destroyer captains killed, mortally wounded, injured during those battles of World War II.
Which you can see why they have to split the hierarchy up, so you can't have all of your control people up here on the bridge at any one time, in case something happens to them, of course.
Absolutely right, much safer to have them downstairs.
But his position up here, only during World War II. Then we had the operations room, which is directly beneath us, so obviously when the operations room was built then, he went downstairs, much safer environment, and to be fair with you, a lot more efficient from controlling the ship down there.
I think we should go to a safer environment as well.
Safer, warmer environment.